Ever walked into a space and just thought, wow, this looks absolutely amazing, but you couldn't quite put a finger on exactly why? You couldn't tell what really came together in terms of styling the space that actually just makes it pop. So today, guys, I'm going to be sharing with you some top tips and tricks that designers use all the time when styling spaces that make them stand out and look a whole lot more aesthetic and functional all at the same time. So if you want to learn these few tips and tricks, stay tuned. I am Faazati Ali, interior designer, and without wasting any time, why don't we dive right into the video? An easy, simple way of creating depth and interest in a space is to simply add wall panels. Now, when designers are styling spaces, we can never leave all the four walls just looking bare, because this is what creates a space that feels a bit bland, a bit boring. So what you want to do is create interest by adding wall panels. And here what I'm really talking about is either going for fluted panel, you can go for wall moldings, you can have wallpaper added to this list as well. It's great in creating a focal point in a space, and as well as board and batten and so on. So you have multiple choices, and of course it all boils down to going for what really works for your style and what you're really trying to achieve in a space. With fluted panel, it can totally fuse into many different styles, whether it's Scandinavian, Japandi, modern, contemporary. It's gonna sit in there really well. When it comes to wall moldings, mostly if you're working with traditional style and classic, of course that's where this really sips in. But we are having an age where we are mixing interior design styles in a way that looks absolutely beautiful still. So even if you like contemporary style and you really like wall moldings, feel free to bring them in, and then bring in your modern furniture pieces. It still looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, I see it and I love it. So if you love that, feel free to do that. Guys, what you want to avoid is just having plain walls in every space of your house, be it your bedrooms, your living room, and so on. Always create a focal wall, and the best way to do this is to go ahead and bring in some kind of wall panels. And like I also mentioned, wallpaper is a great method as well. So bring in something nice, something bold, something textured, add it in the space on one of the walls. Of course, balance this out properly. So whether it's fluted panel, don't do it everywhere. Pick one wall where you can add it in a simple and nice way, and this will be absolutely amazing, and you'll be on your way to having that beautiful home that you're trying to create. The second detail that will absolutely make any space look amazing is, of course, lighting. I emphasize the importance of lighting in so many of my videos. It might start to feel quite repetitive now, but lighting is that important when it comes to interior design. So definitely think about your lighting, and today I will talk about a balance. So when it comes to lighting, like I always say, avoid having just one general lighting in the ceiling and being satisfied with that. Great, it lights up the space, but if you really want to create a beautiful space, a beautiful room, then you have to layer your lightings. And the best way to do this is to have floor lamps, have table lamps. If you're sitting in the corner of the room and you don't want the bright general lighting that sits in the ceiling, then you can obviously use the floor lamps, you can use your table lamps just to perform little tasks here and there. So it's important to have task lighting. It's also important to have accent lighting, and these are the ones that you set maybe above artworks, maybe you have a sculpture somewhere, you put a light around it, and so on. So important to always have different types of lighting, layer them properly, and this will create different moods in a space. That will be absolutely important when styling a space. But you also want to avoid doing something what we call doing too much as well when it comes to lights. Just because we say layer lighting doesn't mean you also overdo it. I have seen a lot of people when styling up spaces, when it comes to accent lighting, and mostly the ones that sit in wall features and wall panels, they can do a bit much. It ends up looking too much, and it's also too much even in terms of sitting in the area, turning them on. It's just too much light, so it's not fun anymore. It doesn't look great anymore. When it comes to lighting, always pick a proper balance when it comes to layering your lighting. Now, texture is also a very important part of adding character into any space. So make sure you play around with texture. Now, a space can feel boring and even flat when you don't have an axe texture going on and it's maybe just one material going off of your sofas and everything else. So try to bring in some textures using natural materials. This looks amazing. It brings, that sense of authenticity into the space as well. So play around with your jute, with the linens, wood finishes, stone, and so on. And as well, you can play around with finishes like glass on your coffee table, have some metals in the space, have different materials going on. This creates a lot more interest in any space. Now, when it comes to your throw pillows and so on, have some beautiful textures and patterns playing on this, bold ones as well. This will make the space stand out even more rather than having all your pillows in one sort of pattern and so on. This just feels more bland and so on, which is a bit boring. So we don't want that. We want to create a space that stands out and looks amazing. Even if you love neutral finishes and all your things should be in one color, texture will be that thing that will actually create a space that feels interesting. And this is definitely something you want to do. So guys, bring in textures in your space, play around with them, and this will make your space look a lot better. To create a space that feels amazing and looks great, then you definitely want to bring in cohesiveness. Now, cohesiveness is something that when we think about principles of interior design, it's definitely the main thing. So you want to think about harmony, you want to think about rhythm, and you also want to think about balance. Now, all this coming together will create a space that just feels well put together. Now, when you walk into someone's home and it just feels like the space is so well put together, from room to room, the space looks like it clearly has a flow. It's very important. It means that they definitely incorporated cohesiveness. Now, this could be simply by repeating a certain texture, maybe a certain color, maybe the accent color they're going for throughout their home is turquoise, and you find it in different spots, in different items, in the different rooms. You'll definitely feel a sense of cohesiveness. Whether it's a texture, maybe there's a wood finish that they're replicating in the different spaces, or a stone finish that they're replicating, or a metal finish that goes from, the accessories in the living room. You find it on the faucets and tubs in the kitchen and bathroom. Then they are definitely creating a beautiful flow in the space, and you will feel it when you walk into the space. It will just feel like it's well put together. What you want to avoid is a space that feels chaotic because you mixed up different styles for different rooms. Literally, your home, the living room is classic, the bedroom is Scandi, the other room is boho. Yeah, that's definitely not gonna give cohesive. It's gonna be quite chaotic at the end of the day. So feel free to tone it down and just keep it simple, minimalize, go for one style, and of course, feel free to play with rhythm and balance by repeating different features in the different rooms, and this will look absolutely amazing. As interior designers, we're always advising people on what to do with spaces, how to style them, what to bring in, what not to. But at the end of the day, something else that's very important after styling your space is to bring in personal touch. Now, personal touch is so important because this creates a space that feels connected to every individual. So always think about bringing in something that resonates with you. Whether it's family pictures, just make sure you frame them properly. I always insist, choose proper frames, hang them appropriately, and this will look absolutely amazing. If you want to bring maybe sculptures or souvenirs that are from maybe your culture, something that's from your hometown, something that just represents you, maybe represents your childhood, your growing up, your hobbies, your passions, and so on. Feel free to bring this in because this creates a space that is unique to just you. You're not gonna find your family pictures in your neighbor's house. It's just you. So this will create a home that is specific for you, that makes you feel connected to a space, and so on. So it's very important. Feel free to do this. Just make sure you're doing it in a way that also creates a space that's aesthetic. If I say family pictures, I am definitely not recommending hanging every family picture ever so that you have a wall that's just too full of family pictures that it now just feels chaotic. choose a few important family pictures, hang them appropriately, and do this with any personal item that you want to bring into the space, and it will look absolutely amazing and feel more connected. So guys, I hope you've got to pick out a tip or trick that will allow you to elevate the look of your space. Now guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. If you have any other tips, do let me know in the comment section below. I would also love to learn from you. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll be truly grateful. Anyway guys, do stay tuned. Every Friday I upload new videos, and of course guys, kindly subscribe. I'll be truly grateful, and see you next time inshallah with another video. Love you guys so much. Bye bye.